Good morning, internet. I just kind of wanted to hop online and talk about something that's been on my mind for a while now. I think everybody kind of intuitively knows this, but let me try to put it into words. The internet has changed, and I don't know if it's for the better, and I know everybody else kind of already talked about this, but here's why we shouldn't press against the change. Okay, internet history time. So,
in the beginning, Susan created
a platform in which there were basically no gatekeepers and anything could get popular with just one rule, and that rule was your content had to be good.
I had loved the lack of gatekeepers on YouTube, meaning there's no one to tell me what kind of videos I should make. I can make whatever I want to show people.
But that kind of free-for-all that Rumi's describing here doesn't really exist anymore. For one thing, the requirements for getting monetized are getting higher and higher, and the creator ecosystem is really crowded. A subscriber means a lot less than it did, like, say 10 years ago. Hell, even 5 years ago. I like to think of it as subscriber inflation. If you don't know, it's basically that thing that every high schooler in America learns is stupid, not invading Russia in the winter, but the other one. This country haven't enough money. Should I try to bolster the economy in a more sustainable way, or should I, yes, I should do that. I don't care about the long-term sustainability of this country. Obvious climate change allegory is obvious. You, do something. Should I turn on the thing? Yes, whatever will fix everything in the short-term moment. Wow, inflation really is a good allegory for climate change. Now imagine each of those $100 bills is 100 people. All of them are subscribing to at least one person. Logic would say that money goes to the people that deserve it the most, or those subscribers would go to the best creators. Just as a lot of that money will go to Amancio Ortega or Bill Gates or Elon Musk, a lot of those subscribers are just going to Jake and Logan Paul. Or okay, maybe not anymore, PewDiePie. Yes, I do recognize that people can be subscribed to multiple channels, which may include the better, smaller creators as well as the big shit tier creators like the Paul Bros, but in the words of anime YouTuber Giguk,
our most limiting resource when it comes to our entertainment now is no longer our money, it's our time.
Exact-the-fucking-lutely. My brain was just yelling at me not to do it, but my body was like, oh, too late. Yeah, okay, I'm actually falling over. Okay, I'm good. Another perfect fucking example of my body not listening to my brain on time. Maybe I'm just really stupid. My point is, the big creators can do whatever the hell they want and people will watch it no matter what because their brand has already been established.
Do we all suck YouTube's dick already?
That, my friends, is Jacksepticeye. Not just a creator, hell, not even just a big creator. That creator is Sean McLaughlin. He is Green PewDiePie. He is one with the floppy banana! In the same vein, Pewds made a video a while ago about how he hit 100 subscribers. Not 100 million, not 100,000, 100 subscribers. And you can physically hear the shock in this guy's voice.
And yeah, today we're gonna celebrate because I got 100 subscribers. Oh my lord, 100 subscribers.
Now, people were shocked that he didn't get to 100 million and quicker than he actually did, to the point that his merch had 100 on his sleeves when he was still at 97 million. I think it's hard to believe that channels with just 1 to 2 million subscribers were considered the top channels on the platform at some point, but that was the case.
Million subscribers back then was a huge deal. Like, it's a big deal now, but it was a huge deal back then. These were some of the top channels on the platform.
Now, here's where we really get into the meat and potatoes. CNN, Fox, NBC, MSNBC, The Daily Show, The Late Late Show, the list goes on and on. But remember when we used to call these mainstream media? Sure, some of us still do that, but most of us just call it traditional media now. That's because the definition of mainstream has switched. Mainstream is created when a bunch of people agree, like let's say product X is something that everybody uses because it's great and everybody knows what it is and everybody has a basic understanding of what it does, even though there are like some aficionados, but basically everybody understands it. That's what mainstream is. In the US today, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody, let's say under the age of maybe 40, who doesn't know who PewDiePie is as long as they're not Amish. However, a lot of people will say that he's old news, especially if you're around my age or younger. Which brings me to my next point. Remember the Viner invasion? creators like The Pauls and Lily Pons, David Dobrik, Liza Koshy, whoever, would bring their massive followings from Vine onto YouTube. If getting popular on YouTube is like digging a hole, then they had dynamite. And the shockwaves lasted for months. After the whole ordeal seemed like it would end, creators like Jacob Sartorius and Jojo Siwa came over from Musical.ly after that died. But this time it was different. The TikTok is gonna die like Vine did, but I think it's gonna stick around. One of the biggest things that measure if something is popular is if it has copycats. Asian Jake Paul got really popular, and It's Everyday Bro got really popular, both for very different reasons. One for being good and one for being the worst thing ever. The point is, they spawned this massive trend in 2018 of YouTubers making diss tracks. Or you can look at Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast spawned the clone that is Morgs, and now Morgs is so popular that even he has clones of his own. Now look at TikTok, or Lasso, or the Ocho, or Byte, or Cabana. Teaming up with Instagram, these two platforms have wormed their way into our regular society to the point where in middle schools across the country, you are weird if you do not know a TikTok dance. One at least, preferably like 4,000 or 5,000. Of course, I myself would always stay loyal to my Reddit and YouTube brethren. I mean, all this new stuff is so much worse than the content we had back in the glory days, what with like Kappa and the Adpocalypse. It makes you wish for the old days where channels like iDubbbz and Filthy Frank were crazy and PewDiePie swore and late night shows just stayed where they are on TV. The old days were so much better when we had— Do you understand what I am trying to say? My Reddit brethren, it seems that we are the boomers now. Okay, I'm gonna conclude quickly because I can already hear the okay boomerage going on in the comments, she says, pointing at her pants. I had a conversation with not necessarily a friend, just kind of somebody that I had to be with for various reasons. My old school, which I actually might make a video about because that place was wild, had a 6th and 8th grade valedictorian. I was the 6th. Let's just call her C. C was the 8th. She was complaining that her brother Jay, who I was actually in a pretty big friend group with, didn't really adhere to their family's ethnic cultural norms. She talked about how he would like sit with his legs sticking out, or put his feet onto the chair, or eat with his hands occasionally, or ask for a fork or a spoon at a Japanese restaurant, stuff like that. I tried vouching for Jay in a way that would not make this girl hate me, because like, even though she was only in 8th grade, she's basically a boomer, and I don't want to deal with a butthurt boomer. And I definitely don't want to write valediction speeches with a butthurt boomer. I told her that what with globalization and all, it's natural that the younger generations are kind of veering away from the old cultures, and we're building new cultures because we can all be connected to each other via things like the internet. I talked about how it's kind of like a past idea that your culture is determined by what your parents' culture is. More people are free to build new cultures now, right? I made sure to make it as a question so that she would think I'm being more gentle with this whole situation. Can you guess what she responded with? Can you? Yeah, it's sad that people think that they can just make cultures with people they don't even know. I really need to talk to my brother about that. I can't. I can't. Do you know all the people that have built up your culture to what it is? Do you? If you're watching this, see? Do you? And if you do, list all their names in the comments, please. Every single one of them. All, probably millions of them. As you may notice, I have currently lost my ability to even. Now, I don't want to get into the complex argument about if virtual friends are real friends, but even that's besides the point here. Culture isn't something that you make with your friends, it's what determines how you interact with strangers who are part of the same culture. It's about how you talk, what you're interested in, what your pastimes are, what you wear, stuff like that. The whole issue with physical communities is that they're spatially limited. You can't just chat with somebody on the other side of the country and have them consider you a friend in traditional cultures. That's why I love the internet. 2 years ago, I used to write poems. Pretty bad ones at that. Here's the ending of one I wrote about the internet. We are close-knit people that knows no one's names. Strangers are friends or fought with by blade. We follow religions, make cults on jokes. But we have IQs above 5 to know what's a hoax. The meme economy flourishes with automatic autocracy. But with people without faces who are rising and falling, the monolith and people create a beautiful democracy. We educate stupidly and make it matter. But to think complexly, we also gather debatable. If you're not a nerd fighter, heavily debatable. Our politics are run by those who are smart. Again, debatable. But the populace changes things with strength of heart. Our art is memes and Procreate drawings, and as memes freeze, lives are finally thawing. What the hell does that even mean? Our languages are translated, but English is universal, not necessarily. But we can also talk in cards of reversal. It's everywhere and nowhere, and I love it and I hate it. It's Arabs and Brits and Swedes and Gits, and it's fucking awesome. First of all, thank you, internet. Thank you to Stampy for preserving my innocence. Thank you to various subreddits for bringing me out of it. Thank you, MatPat and Vlogbrothers and Vsauce for educating us. Thank you to Boinaband and Dan and Phil for supporting our emo phases. Let's be honest, we all had a Dan and Phil induced emo phase. You're lying if you're saying you didn't. It's either that or you're not a 13-year-old girl. And thank you, PewDiePie, for everything you bring to this culture! Thank you, internet. But we have to understand that this isn't necessarily our internet anymore, and that people grow up differently. We don't like the idea of late night shows invading the platform and TikTokers building camps and just kind of squashing out our old communities and redefining what it means to be on the internet, but the internet is wide enough. If groups like Africans can share a continent which has limited space, surely we can share an infinite plane of ones and zeros. This is PDV Ash, signing off.